Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming out. Before we start, about the language, who is non-Dutch here? Right, great. Enough to... is het geluid goed qua hoe ik de microfoon bij mijn mond hou, Joost? Top? Okay, thanks. Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to DJ School Amsterdam. Welcome to Amsterdam Dance Event. And welcome to Amsterdam for those who travel. Great that you're here. Great that you chose this seminar as something that you hope to learn something from. I'll first introduce this guy here and then myself, and then we'll start with a session that we hope will inspire you and bring you something to take away this weekend, and that probably will make you maybe even a better DJ and producer. This here is Roland in Dutch, Roland for the international visitors. He's one of the founders, some people say owners, but it sounds so strange, founders of DJ School Amsterdam, and he's been a DJ for a long time, partly together with me. My name is Oliver, and I'm also one of the founders. And today you're going to hear a lot of talking by these two guys, and we're going to try to inspire you and try to give you something to take away. We planned a little talk, but if there's someone who says, guys, I really have to interrupt, I have a question that I must ask now, please feel free. We're with less people than we expected because of the weather, because actually every seat would have been taken. I think this is a little bit more convenient for everyone, so feel free to interrupt if you really think it's, only if it's a good question, all right? So welcome again, and I'll start with giving Roland the time of his life.
Yes, thank you and welcome. We'll shift sheets right now so I can introduce what we're going to do here, who we are, and that's what I'll start with. DJ School Amsterdam was founded in 2009, and we were DJs, as already told you, and central for us as DJs was that we wanted to give something to our audience, and that was a thrilling experience and something that they really could enjoy. And that's something we also took to being a DJ school, because what we want to do as a DJ school is really inspire everyone who comes in here and make them discover, develop, and share their musical personality. Now, that sounds really cool, but what does that mean? Well, the inspiring part is that if people come in here, they're already very passionate about music. That's what we see with all our students. They're very highly motivated because they're doing something that's within their passion, their drive to really want something with music. And what we do is guide them to discover who they are as a musical personality, what means that music is about finding out what exactly is your sound. And certainly if you want to be a DJ, it's very important that you have a very distinct sound. If you look at all the high-class DJs or the ones in the DJ Mag Top 100, whatever, doesn't mean that much, but it means that if you're in there, you have a significant sound that is really yours. So you have a style and certain songs that really reflect who you are as a DJ. And we try to find that in every student that comes in here. So they might start off with playing a lot of different styles, and we try to shape that down to one specific style that you can really recognize. Well, develop, of course, you're in a school, so you have to develop skills in the areas that matters most if you want to become a DJ or a producer. And SHARE stands for that. When we started out, we found out that if we educated DJs, they would be really great DJs, but in their bedrooms or in the privacy of their own homes. But we really want the DJs that come over here, our students, to really perform in live settings. So that's why we team up with clubs like Club NL and others, to make our students really perform live, because DJing is about live performance. It's something that you can learn, well, behind decks, but the real profession is learned in interaction with your audience. We'll get back to that later. The other goal of our institute is that we want to raise the level of DJing globally. Sounds really big, but we have global students. We have people coming from all over the world to DJ School Amsterdam, and we hope to help them raise the level of DJing at the places where they play. Because still, it's strange that if you're a visitor of a club, you have to pay the same amount of money when you go to some kind of cultural performance. And if you go to a theater, you will know that if you pay 20 euros or dollars or whatever, that you get a certain level of performance. And in the DJ world, that still isn't not for sure. So you could come in somewhere where the level of DJing is still pretty low, even though the club might look fine. And that's where we really try to make a difference, to really get that level of DJing so high that if you go out, you can really enjoy a great performance every time you go to a serious club. So that brings us to the definition of a great DJ. I already said the top 100 DJ Mag. That's about popular DJs. What we try to do here is really shape great DJs. But first we have to know, what is a great DJ? It's a question we ask every student that comes in here, because we really want to focus on the core qualities that a DJ needs. So this is what we define as a great DJ. A great DJ makes the audience move in a physical and spiritual way. So that is the task of a DJ. If I'm here and I'm playing and you are in, well, the way you are right now, I would be doing something terribly, terribly wrong. Because you're sitting down, that's also really bad. I've never noticed that with any DJ, but okay, even if you would be standing, it would be a bad sign that you will be so not mobile. So a DJ has to do everything within his power to get this audience going. Of course, there's no music, so it's going to be hard. But physical means, okay, you got to get people to dance, and spiritual means that really you have to get people into a flow, and that you can do with certain tracks that have certain atmosphere. It can be dark, it can be light, it can be happy, it can be serious. And, well, the goal of a DJ is to get people in that mood that he wants them to be there, or she. And that's really the goal that we try to teach our students. So, moving on, we need qualities to do that. So you can just put on a record and see what happens, but for sure, nothing will happen. So you need qualities to be able to get your dance floor going. What are these qualities? Well, we asked our students, every student that came in here, we asked the question, what if you go out to a DJ is important for you to make it a night you will remember? What quality does this DJ have to have? And of course we have our own experience in playing for, well, a lot of years. And the first thing we notice is that the most important thing you have to do as a DJ is play great records. It's really simple. It's nothing technical. It's selecting the right record at the right time. So when we started out teaching people how to mix, because we thought, well, what is DJing about? Well, we have to teach them something to do, so let's teach them how to mix. When these DJs were done at our courses in the beginning of our years, they could mix, but they are not great DJs. And that's because we didn't focus on the right things. And now we're focusing on track, which is the most important thing, what to play. Second most important thing is what to play when. So you can put on a record, and I could have two DJs here with 10 records, the same records, and one of them will get you all going, and the other one will clear the room with the same 10 records. So it has a lot to do with the order, in what order you are going to play these records. And that is something we really, it's the hardest part of DJing, so we put a lot of effort to train our students in that. Third part is mixing. We call that applying musicality, which means, of course, you need to be able to mix your record. It has to do with pronunciation. If I would stutter all the time, my story would not get across very well. And mixing is the same thing. If you cannot mix, your product will not sound smooth. So basic mixing, okay, that's doable. But what we want to do is teach you how to mix looking at the track you are playing. So certain tracks need to be mixed in a certain way, but also looking at the timing. So at the beginning of an evening, you will mix differently than at the peak of a night. So you have to adjust your mixing to your audience, and that's why we call it musical mixing. The fourth big four subject is the image. So image has two sides. One side is the one that, well, Oliver is now showing you, is how do you behave behind the DJ booth. He seems to smile, so he likes what he does. That's a start. He puts his hands in the air, which you see all the time. DJing used to be something that was done behind this screen about 20 years ago, and now it's something that happens on main stage. So you need to be aware of your presence and what you get across to a dance floor. The other side of image, which is not in the screen anymore, is that you need to be an entrepreneur. You need to be able to get from one gig to another. And how do you do it? Well, you have to do certain things to get from A to B, and that is something that our students need a lot of coaching with, because they're creative people most of the time, and to be an entrepreneur, well, you need different qualities for that. So we do a lot of training in this area. So let's go back to track and go in a little deeper to what track choice is about. Well, to be able to be a high-level DJ, you need to have a very specific style. You need to develop that. Now, how do you develop a style? Well, first you could ask yourself some questions. What's my musical personality? Because it makes a big difference if you are an entertainer or an educator. So if you wonder these questions before you start DJing, it can help you well, take a certain direction. And if you have direction, you have more focus and you will have your energy focused on the right things. So an entertainer or an educative DJ is very different. So an entertainer will have as a goal to entertain his crowd. So he plays a wide variety of songs, where an educative DJ will have to focus on, well, his own sound, because he wants to get across his own musical message, and is not going to play commercial records, for instance. Yesterday versus tomorrow. So do you like music that is already old or older? Do you dig backwards? Or are you a DJ that plays music from the future? Which is hard, because the future is not here yet. But you could play tracks that nobody knows, or they are really new and have a very different style, so people react to them like, oh, what's this? But if you keep playing that, people will eventually, hopefully, react to the music, if it's good music. And are you a safe DJ, or are you going to die trying, bring something new? So if you're safe, you will play the songs that you know will work, or that you know, well, it's not really risky, because you will probably respond to this kind of groove or this kind of vibe. And die trying means I'm going to die trying, pushing my own tracks. So an example could be Chesto, who was a DJ that played in very small clubs for years, playing trance. Nobody wanted to hear trance, but he kept on doing it, and at a certain time and space, everything was right for trance, and he was the one to call. So that made Chesto the one and only DJ that played trance, so that made him skyrocket. Determine your style elements. As I said with the other sheet, well, you have to determine what kind of DJ you are. And we've made certain styles of DJs here that you can check out which one you are. And Oliver will tell you a little bit more about this categorization.
Yeah, I was just wondering, who of you, you can just raise hands, who of you is already playing at a professional level? All right. And who of you is who of you wants to be a DJ who's playing at a professional level? Much more. Great. Then this is really important, because this can be either to determine what you're already doing or what you're gonna do. I shouldn't take too much time for this, because we're running out of time already a little bit. The 5 kinds of DJs that we determine is the DJs that we see all around in the club, but it's really interesting to see which one you would want to be. The first one is the no limits all-rounder. Classical example is the one that plays Paradise with a Dashboard Light. It's always the most horrible example, but that's what you play when you're a no limits all-rounder. It means you have no taste. But no, I'm just kidding, because actually when if you have no limits and you're an all-rounder, you can do a lot of gigs. You can work all week long, earn not so much money per gig, but you can actually live from it. And if you're not trying to educate people, you can actually make a living, and a good living, out of being a no limits all-rounder. Then we have the credible all-rounder, which is the DJ who plays a lot of styles, but really has determined what from each style he wants to play. So if you're a classics DJ, a credible all-rounder would play Michael Jackson, but he wouldn't play, let's say, the Beatles, because it doesn't fit his credible side of dance music. Or if you play house, and you're a credible all-rounder, you play the top 40 house, but not so much the deeper techno stuff. If you're a genre DJ with extras, we just called it like this, but let me explain. That means you stick to a genre, which could be hip-hop, but you also include the occasional house track or the occasional dance classic. So that means you're trying to have your own signature style, but it includes that you look at the audience, and if you think something more is necessary than sticking to your genre, you make side steps to entertain your public. A genre DJ is someone who doesn't do that, who sticks to a genre, let's say house, and he builds his nights up with playing house, playing nothing but house, which you can, of course, make a lot of choices in, but that would be a genre DJ. Then we have the niche DJ, which would be someone who plays only deep house in the darkest kind, or hip hop from 1992, and that's everything he does. Big advantage for a niche DJ is that people know you for a style. You get maybe not so many bookings every month, but you can ask a lot because people ask you specifically for what you do. So they won't ask Chesto to play hip hop because he won't. They ask him to play trance, and in the beginning he was the only one, so he made a lot of money with that. So it's not really about money, but it's about before you start playing, which is interesting for all you. Try to decide for yourself what kind you would be before you start digging for music, because it's really important to think, what would my future gig look like?